Okay, so when you log in, sorry, I was muted there. You're going to go to car.org, click on the big transactions button, enter your login information, and then log in. And this is the home screen, pretty much your dashboard when you log into ZipForms. And you're probably not going to have anything here if you haven't worked with done any transactions. So the first thing that you're going to do is let's go to the right hand corner and look at settings. So profile and settings. You want to make sure that everything's correct in here. Make sure your name's spelled correctly, email address, phone number, and then make sure to add, if you don't already have it in there, because it doesn't automatically default in there, your DRE license number. And then once you enter that number, click on save. Let's go through here. Security, offices. When you click on office, whether you're new or you're an agent coming in from a different office, make sure that when you go into this office tab, that you have Coldwell Banker Platinum Properties. I think when you first sign up, it shows as Coldwell Banker Platinum Prop. So make sure it's spelled out all the way.
Oh, okay.
And then you enter the office address, city, zip code, and then under phone, you can add your cell phone number or you can add the office number. It's up to you. This is just going to show up at the bottom of the forms. And then once you make the changes, click save. Forms, we don't have to do anything here. Products, don't have to do anything there. Go to settings, the settings tab, and make sure that you default to AuthentiSign. AuthentiSign is paid for with your membership, so you don't have to pay for DocuSign. And it's pretty much like DocuSign. You can do everything that you can in DocuSign. So just default that so it doesn't ask you every time. Let's see down here. Anything else? There's something, there's a section here where it asks you about the time zone, what time zone you're in. Make sure you add Pacific Standard Time. I don't see it.
At the top actually, right below often it shows like this to me.
Okay.
The GMT time zone. Or is it? No.
Yeah, so make sure you select Pacific.
All right.
It doesn't show it on mine because I've already selected it. And then notification settings. You can adjust this the way you want to adjust it. And assistant transaction coordinator. This is if you work with a TC, transaction coordinator or assistant, you can invite them to access your transactions. So now that we've changed all the settings or set it the way we want it, let's go back to transactions up at the very top. Back to the dashboard. So this is your dashboard. And like I said, you probably don't have anything under active here. It's probably just going to be blank. So what you want to do, the first thing that you want to do is you want to create a transaction. So you're going to do that by clicking on new. And let's say this is going to be a purchase because you're probably going to submit an offer first. So we're going to click on new purchase or offer. And it's important how you identify each of these transactions. As you can see on the background on the left here, I have Jack Chen. That's the buyer I'm working with. When I'm working with the buyer, I like to name the transactions the buyer's name. So that way I know this is my buyer. I select it. I'm going to go in and submit an offer, write up an offer on their behalf. And if it's a listing, I'm going to name this the property address, right? So let's say here we're going to say this is James. I don't know, James Bond. But James Bond is my buyer, and it's for residential property. And I don't have a property yet, so I'm going to leave the rest of it alone. And I'm going to click on down here at the bottom on save. And let's say right now I just want to do the buyer representation agreement. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to parties section in the gray bar. And it has me in here, so I want to make sure it has my correct information. So I'm going to click on my name as a selling agent. It's missing a DRE number and the office DRE number, but I saved it, so I'm just going to select it from here. You can type it in. What I did is I clicked on save to address book after I had the correct information, and then click save. So the next time I went into it, I could just click on address book select myself, and then it populates all the information I want. And I click on save. And you want to make sure that you have your email address, that you fill out as much information as you can. And then next, we're going to go to buyer one. So who's buyer one? James Bond. And here you want their full name, first name, middle name, last name, and their email address. So we're going to go jamesbond@gmail.com. And we're going to click on save. So our buyer is James Bond, and this is their email, his email address. We're going to click save. So this is the first thing we want to do. Next is go to the Documents tab at the top in the gray bar. And as you can see, there's no documents here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the right-hand corner where it says All Forms in the blue. And the very first form is the Buyer Representation and Broker Compensation Agreement. So I'm going to select that. And when I click on that, it brings it over to my Documents section to the left. So I'm going to click away from that over here to just click anywhere in the middle. And then I'm going to click on the form itself to work on the form. And now this is a fillable form that you can work on. So in this case, I'm going to select buyer. James Bond is my buyer. And as you can see, because we entered his name, made sure that our company information and personal information are on there. It auto-populates wherever our names go, wherever the buyer's name goes. And this is the agency disclosure. We're going to scroll down to the next form. So in the Buyer Representation Broker Compensation Agreement, there's a few forms within the packet. So that's another form, that's another form, that's another form. So this is all part of the BRBC. So this is the actual BRBC. Date prepared. Date prepared is going to be a reference date. So you can enter today's date. And this reference date is going to be used only if you're going to make an addendum or modification of terms for the buyer representation agreement dated 5/28. So this is only a reference date that you're going to refer to whenever you're adding or making any changes to it using another form. And then beginning date and ending date. So you cannot go longer than 90 days on a representation agreement. So anyway, let's say we're filling this out, and let's say we're looking for someone in a property in Orange County, not just a specific city, and we're going to charge them 2.5%. So the buyer's agreeing to pay 2.5%, and that's pretty much it. So let's say we're going to save this, okay? Now that we're ready to send this for the buyer to sign, we're going to click on Prepare Signing at the top right-hand corner. And then just accept the defaults here, just click on Create. And it's going to take us over to Authentic-Sign. It's going to look similar to this, but it's using Authentic-Sign. And it's going to show you the form, pretty much all the forms within the packet. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to click on Add Participants from the transaction, because we already have participants, right? We already have the parties in there.
Yeah.
So we're going to add them from the transaction, and it's going to pull the data. So it pulls my information and it pulls the buyer's information. So just to show you an example, I'm going to click on myself, and I'm going to click on Select. And it's going to, actually, you know what? Let's select both. Just to show you where it's going to show you where James Bond is going to sign in blue, and they're identified in blue over here on the right, and I'm identified with the yellow boxes, so it shows you where I'm going to sign. We scroll down to the bottom here, it shows you where we're going to initial. It knows, the system automatically knows whether it's a signature box or initial box, so it automatically places it. Make sure that before you send it, you go through every form, every page to make sure that there is a signature box or initial box where one is required. So it looks like everything looks good here. Scroll down. And then we're ready to send.
So, quick question.
Yes.
If they're like two buyers and let's say like in a couple,
Mhm.
it's James Bond and his wife, then there will be another one.
Yeah, so remember how we added the parties and we added buyer one?
Yeah,
We're gonna add buyer two at the
Yeah.
beginning.
yeah.
And then we're gonna add her name and her email address. And then when we do that, when we add participants, it's gonna show her,
Mhm.
him, and you as the agent,
Yeah.
and you're gonna select all three of them. And it's automatically gonna put her signature box for buyer number two.
Below James Bond is
Yes.
just it's empty. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then so like if you're ready to send, in this case, let's say we don't want James Bond to sign, so we're gonna remove, just to show you, I want to show you what it looks like after something's been signed. So I'm going to send it to myself for signatures. So only the pages that require my signature are going to be on here, or are going to be required to sign. I'm going to click on next at the very top, and then send. And then I'm going to sign it just on my phone, just so we can see what happens after I sign it. So right here, all you see is the form, right? If you look on the left-hand side, there's no additional documents. So I received the email. It tells me start signing, click the button to start signing. And I'm going to accept, start signing, just click to sign, click to sign. And click signing. All right, so I completed the signing process. And let's see if it shows up here. We might have to exit this. Let me go out of it. So I'm going to click on back to list here on the top left. And then I'm going to go back into the transaction for James Bond. And go back to documents. And it has not been sent yet. Maybe it takes a minute. Okay, it should be in here now. Let me refresh it, reload. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Morning. It kicked me out. Let me go back in. I just wanted to show you what it looks like after a document's been signed and where it puts it and how you access it. Well, first of all, it's going to email you a PDF of the document you signed or that was completed. But let's say you accidentally delete that email or you lost it or whatever it is. We're going to go back into James Bond transaction and go to documents. And then you're going to notice that on the left-hand side, it created a folder that says buyer representation and for compensation agreement. That folder wasn't there before. So if I click on that folder, it's going to show me the signed PDF. So I can click on this PDF and it's going to open and you're going to see where I signed.
Yeah.
That's where I signed on every form that I signed. So this is where you access the forms. Let me go back to folders here. So you're going to see the original form here and then the folder next to it with the PDF. Sometimes people get confused with the form and then the actual signed PDF, but the PDFs are always going to be within a folder. So just leave them in that folder. And within that folder, it tells you what date it was signed to. So if I hover over it, it tells you when it was signed. And eventually, after you send out a bunch of forms documents to get signed, it's going to tell you, it's going to name the whatever packet you sent out to sign. In this case, it named it buyer representation because that's all I was sending out. And you're going to have a bunch of different folders here on the left. And you might wonder like, oh, which was the most recent one? There's a few different offers that I sent out for signatures. If you hover over it, it'll tell you what date it was signed. So that's a good thing about that. Let's say we're ready to submit an offer. And we want to go to the summary page here. Actually, it doesn't matter where you're at. You're going to click on MLS Connect up here at the top. And then you want to type in the MLS ID for that listing. And then we're going to click on Find. And here's the property address. It shows up and it asks you, is this the property you want to submit an offer for? Yes. So I'm just going to click on Import. And what this does is it auto-populates information about the property address, city, state, zip code, the AP number. It imports information like who the listing agent is, what their brokerage is, what their DRA license numbers are, because these are all things that are going to be required for the purchase agreement. So I'm going to click on import. Otherwise, you'd have to type all that in yourself. Yes. See, here's the property address. So it populated a bunch of things, right? So now that that's all in there, I'm going to go back to documents, and I'm going to click on all forms, and I'm going to click on residential purchase agreement, which is the very next form on that list. Click away from it, and then click on the actual. Let's see, we're going to open, this is going to be a new workspace. So the difference here is when you see this pop up, it's going to ask you, do you want to open the previous workspace, which my previous workspace is the BRBC. That's already done with. I don't want that. I want to leave that alone. This is a whole new thing that we're doing. So I'm going to click on start a new workspace. And now it's only going to show me, and which this also has the agency disclosure like it does on the BRBC. It's redundant. I don't know why it does it, but it does.
So we have to sign that twice?
Yeah. And we're going to scroll down, and as you see, you can see here, it auto-populates the property address, the AP number, who the listing agent is, but we have to make sure we click on they're the listing agent and we're the buyer's agent. Auto-populates our DRA license numbers, and then you're going to go through and fill out the offer and everything, right? So once you fill out the offer, you're going to click on save, and then prepare signing. And then we're going to send it. It's going to create a new signature envelope is what it calls it, right? Or a packet. And it's naming it the purchase contract. So when we come back after it's signed, it's going to create a folder that says purchase contract. So that's how you can identify it. Create. And this form is comprised of a bunch of different forms. So it's a packet pretty much of forms. And as you can see, we scroll down, there's a bunch of pages here. So first thing we're going to do here is add participant. Remember that from the transaction. And we're going to add myself, and we're going to add James Bond, our buyer, and that's it. And if you add a wife, we're going to add the wife too. So we're going to click select. And you're going to notice that it's going to automatically add all the signature boxes. But for some reason, if it did not add a signature box, like on this page, let's say there's no signature box. Oh, the system forgot to do it, because sometimes it gets glitchy and it might miss something. We're going to click on James Bond's name, click on sign here, and drag it over and drop it to where James Bond's going to sign. We can move over the date or leave it where it is. That's fine. If it's initials that they have to enter, we're going to say initials, drag that box over. There's already initials there, but just to show you. If you want to remove that one, just select it and hit the delete button, and it removes that signature box or initial box. There's going to be times where you're going to upload a PDF from the computer, because let's say the other agent's sending you seller's disclosures. They're going to send it to you as a PDF. So then what you're going to do, let me exit out of here. We're going to add a document. You're adding a foreign document. This is not a form. Even though it was initially a form and created as ZipForms, they're sending to you as a PDF. So we're going to add a document, and we're going to browse, because you saved it to your computer, right? And let's do, I don't know what this is. Let me open that before I add it, because I don't know if it's something. Downloads. What is that? Oh. That's not something I want to use. Let's say we're going to use this. And this is a PDF that the other agent sent me. Even though this is the listing agreement, just disregard that, right? We're going to click on that PDF. And let's say it's the seller's disclosures. And we're gonna click on sign, e-sign. And this is what it's gonna call it. Let's just call it seller's disclosures. Create. It's gonna take me to authentic sign. I'm gonna add parties from the transaction, myself and James Bond, my buyer, select. And it doesn't know, I'm just gonna close out of this. It doesn't know where the buyer signed because it's a PDF. It doesn't know, hey, this is where I have to add the signatures because you're not looking at the form that was created right now in ZipForms. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select, actually, let's save that. We're gonna click on tools on the right-hand side. And we're gonna select James Bond buyer, and we're gonna drag his signature box down there. We're gonna select myself, drag my signature box down there. And we're gonna go through every single page and we're gonna add all the initials that are required. So my initials, actually not my initials, not required there. Let's delete that. It's James Bond. So initials. This is seller, but let's just pretend this is where the buyer's initials go. And we're gonna keep adding buyer's initials on every page and so forth, right? Until you're ready to go, and then you're gonna click on next and then send for signatures. So this is how you bring a foreign document into it, and most likely it's going to be a PDF and add signature boxes and so forth. So that's how you create a transaction. That's how you add parties. That's how you add a form to the transaction, and that's how you send it out via digital signatures. Now, let's go back to the beginning here. And now let's say you have a listing. We're going to go to new listing. And again, so when it's a listing, I'm going to identify it or name it as the listing address. So I'm going to do it 123 Main Street. And that's just how I'm going to identify it. It's residential, and that's it. I'm just going to hit save. So now I'm going to go back here. It's going to show up as 123 Main Street. If I want to work with James Bond to submit an offer, I already know this is James Bond. I'm not going to assign a particular property address to him because maybe they don't accept it. So I'm going to have to keep changing the name of it. So it's better that way, for me at least. So I'm going to go back to 123 Main Street to my listing. And within my listing, I'm going to add parties. First of all, myself, make sure it's got all the information you need, DRE license number, all that stuff, right? The company DRE license number. And then we're going to say save. And then in this particular case, we're going to say seller one is going to be Mark Smith. Actually, let's split it up here. And his email is going to be mark@gmail.com. And for right now, that's all I need. And then I'm going to go to documents. One thing that you can do, you can add a cover page. The cover sheet, it's pretty much a form that you can add who the seller is, what the property address is, who the escrow is when you open escrow, all these things, right? I used to like using it, but now I just, whatever the parties are, that's pretty much what I need. So I just use the parties section. So I'm not going to use it. Just want to show you guys that it's there. You can use it. It's helpful because you can always print it out later, and it's got all the information, or save it. It's got all the information of who the lender is, who the escrow is, what the escrow number is, what the purchase price was, all this information you could use, but I'm not going to use it. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add the residential listing agreement, and open that up, and it's automatically going to enter the seller's name. So we're going to click seller, go down, and then today's date, prepared date, and then the property address. So then I'm going to enter 123 Main Street. 123 Main Street, and let's say it's in Irvine, in Orange County. And it's 92606. And the AP number is going to be, I don't know, 01, whatever. Right? That's the AP number. And then beginning and ending date. So beginning date, and this is not a class for the listing contract, but just so you know, the beginning date is always going to be this date here. And for the contract to be valid, it has to have a beginning and ending date. Okay. So the beginning date is going to be either this date or the date that it was signed. Whichever the later of the two is the beginning date. So even though I'm preparing it today, I email it to the seller. He doesn't sign until Saturday or Sunday. That Saturday or Sunday when he signs is going to be the beginning date, even though it says here the beginning date is today. So the later of the two. All right, so let's save this form. Same thing. Now let's say we want him to sign it. So we're going to go to prepare signing, create, and it's going to name this the listing agreement so you know how to find it, right? After it's signed. And the more you do this, the easier it's going to get.
Yeah.
And it brings the form over. We're going to add participants from the transaction. And I want to sign it. I want the seller to sign it. I'm going to click on select. Now there's something else that you can do here. If I leave it the way it is, we both get the email at the same time and sign it whenever we can. But if I click on this toggle here, it says it in order. So let's say I want Mark to sign it first. So Mark's going to be the first signer. So it's going to email to Mark. Mark signs it, and then it's going to email me for my signature. And then once I sign, it's going to be complete. So in this situation, you're going to have, when would be an ideal time to use this? So like, let's say there's seller's disclosures, and there's a husband and wife.
Yeah.
And let's say the wife is the one that knows everything about the property. She's the one that handles everything. We want to send the seller's disclosure to her first. So she would be seller number one. And she would assign everything first because in the seller's disclosures, you have the seller property questionnaire, the transfer disclosure statement, and somebody has to answer all those questions. So it would be the first seller number one that would do that.
Yeah.
So when you send this, you want to make sure that she gets it first because she has to answer it. But she also has to be set up as seller number one. I think whether you select a certain order here, even if you make her as like, let's say Mark Smith is seller number one and the wife is seller number two. Even if you put the wife first here as a signer, it's not going to have her answer the questions. She has to be set up as seller number one. I believe that's the case to answer the questions. So the other people can't sign until that first person answers those questions, right? So anyway, then you're going to click next and then send. It's going to send it off for signatures. And again, you're going to find the signature or the signed document over here on the left. There'll be a folder created named residential listing agreement. And you'll find the PDF in there. It'll also have the folder here next to this. Now, there's let's see. One thing I wanted to teach you guys that I haven't taught anybody yet, because I just learned this myself. So you're lucky that you're here, man.
Exclusive.
Yes, exclusive. Is there's templates. And I think I've taught you guys how to do templates, how to apply templates. So templates is pretty much used when, let's say, I'm working with a seller. I had them sign the listing agreement. Now I want to have them sign all the seller's disclosures. So then I have to go through and go through here to the form library, and select all the forms. So like I have to do the TDS, and then when I have to add that, and I have to do the SVQ, and then I have to add that, and then I have to keep doing that, add every form, right? Individually. I can create a template that already has all those forms and just click on apply template and then select it and click apply. and it'll apply all of those forms in one shot instead of me having to look for it every time and having to have the checklist in front of me and to look to see which forms I need. All you have to do is use the checklist at one time, create a template, and then hit apply, and then it's going to apply all of those forms. And another way that I just found out that how you can use the template section is a checklist. And the checklist is pretty cool because let's say you accept an offer and let's go to the buyer side. So I'm going to go to the buy side. I'm working with James Bond. And I want to add reminders for certain tasks. What I want to do first is I want to scroll down through this section here. It's got the property address, it's got all that information. I want to write in the acceptance date. So the acceptance date was today. And purchase price is, let's say, $1,750,000. And there's certain things you're going to need here. Closing date is, let's say, next month on the 27th, so a 30-day escrow. It can't close on the 27th because it's a Saturday. So close on the 26th. And I think that's all I want to do here. I mean, you can enter commission. Let's say I'm going to get 2.5% commission. It converts that to dollars so you can see what that is. Certain things. Okay, so let's say this is good. I want to go to documents, have all my documents set up, whatever I need, right? I'm going to go to templates. I'm actually going to apply templates because I've already created this. So I'm going to say apply template. And then I'm going to say important dates for the buy side. That's what I named it. And I'm going to click apply and continue. So then if you look at checklists, look what it did for me. It added a list of important dates, right? The important dates, when was the offer accepted, closing date, and then listing date. That's fine. We don't care about that right now. But it also added this down here. It's going to remind me on, let's see, when is it supposed to remind me? Due date. This is the due date. So by tomorrow, it's going to email me, hey, you need to order your inspection. So I have it set to remind me the next day after acceptance. And then here, remove contingencies. It's set to remind me 17 days after acceptance to remove contingencies. It's going to send me an email. Say, hey, remember to remove contingencies. And then also for my final walkthrough, I have it scheduled for 5 days before closing to send me an email and say, hey, you got to do your final walkthrough. So this is pretty cool because it reminds you certain dates because you kind of get caught up in everyday life and tasks and whether you're doing marketing or you're doing family stuff or certain things for the transaction that you tend to forget, oh, when are contingencies due? Or removal dates due? Here it tells you it's due on the 14th. And why? Because it's 17 days after acceptance. So you don't have to go on the calendar and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and count the days. It tells you right here. Not only does it tell you, but it's also going to email you and say, hey, remove contingencies.
So this checklist is created with the template or?
Yeah, I'll show you how to create it. But is this pretty cool?
Yeah.
Right? And this is something I never used before. I just used the templates to create to add all the forms to the transaction. But imagine, I mean, this is pretty cool. It's a game changer. So let me go back to transactions here. So if I'm going to create a template or a checklist, I'm going to go to forms and checklists, and I want to create new. Click on new. And this is going to be like for the purchase side, right? I want it to remind me of certain tasks. So I'm going to click on new purchase. And this is going to be test buy side. Test buy side tests. And I could set it to automatically apply to every transaction or don't do it. In this case, I want to add it myself. You know what? Let's automatically do it. Why not? Now let's do the third one. Yeah. So then I'm going to click save. So now it's going to add it. I'll just go back and delete it later. Okay, now let's click on save. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to, where is it here? Give me a second. I just did this yesterday. So checklists. So if we want to do documents, this is where we go and add all the forms to create, to add, make sure that they're added to the document, right, to the transaction. But I'm going to click on checklist. So this is where I create the checklist. And I'm going to click on a new checklist. And I'm going to name this tasks. And then you can click on add new task. And then I'm going to say order inspection. And then it's either going to be fixed on a specific date, but I want it one day after acceptance. So there's no specific date assigned to it. It's just, hey, tell me the next day. Remind me the next day. And then who's it going to go to? It's going to go to me. I'm the selling agent. And it's going to email me. It's going to notify me. So notify the party when it's due. Yes. And that's it. So we know that it's called order inspection. This is the reminder or the inspection. And you can even add description or notes or whatever you want. And then category, I'm going to leave that alone.
So they mean
Relative date is one day after acceptance. And then
notifies, like they basically mean email.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And this, I'm going to click OK, save. So now it's on the list. And now I'm going to add another task. And then it's going to be remove contingencies. And this is based on 17 days, right? Unless you change it, you know, or it's different. Then I would say relative to 17 days after acceptance date. And then notify me, the selling agent, yes. Now we're going to save that. And then again, you want to add the last one. It's final walkthrough. And then when is it relative? So it's 5 days before closing date. This is awesome. I love this thing. And then who's going to get it? The selling agent. And yes, notify me to remind me.
That's pretty cool.
And now you click on save.
Oh wow.
And now I created this thing, right?
That's right.
And I'm going to name this category tasks. I mean, everything's going to be tasks, right? So save.
Oh.
So now when I go to my templates, it's going to show up there's one of my templates. This one I named it test by site tasks, right? So when I go to my, so test by site tasks right there. And when I click on it, I can go, it's going to show this. It's going to be blank, but checklist is where it's at. But let's say I want to add some things to it too. Like there's certain forms that I want to make sure to add to it. There's a couple of company forms that you want to make sure you add to it that are not in ZipForms. So maybe this is where you add them. And then when you apply the template, it adds the checklist and it adds those forms to your transaction. So that's how you can use that. But let's say we want to add some forms here. So let's do I don't know. Let's just add some forms just so you can see how it works here. So now it automatically saves, I guess. There's no save button. I don't see a save button. So let's go back to my transactions now. And I'm going to go to James Bond. And I'm going to, let me see. I don't know if I can remove that template or not, but anyway, let's go back to documents. Okay. And I want to apply template. Apply template. And I want to add the new test by size tasks. Apply. And look, it just added the two forms. But also when I go to checklist, it added the checklist again. Because I had I had already assigned a checklist. But anyways, let's say you didn't have the first checklist. It adds a checklist and the forms. That's even better. And this would work probably even on the list side. So like, let me show you an example of the listing side. Let's go to transactions and let's go to Main Street. I'm going to apply a template that I created for the list side. So let's click on apply template and then reminders for the listing, apply. So I'm going to go to checklist now and see what reminders I gave myself here. Submit a notice to perform 15 days after acceptance. And then also order termite inspection 1 day after acceptance. So this is going to send me an email, say, hey, do this. Hey, do this. But along with this checklist, I can add all the seller's disclosures so that when I apply the template, it adds everything that I need. This is so awesome, man. Like, this is such a time saver. I don't know how I didn't know about this. Anyway, any questions? Oh, I have something else I want to tell you about. So the different form libraries. So when you go to forms, it's going to show you different form libraries. The main one is the California Association of Realtors form library. And this is going to have almost every form that you're going to need. And they're made by California Association of Realtors and their attorneys and everything, right? But there's also going to be some other forms that you're going to need that are not in this form library. You're going to click on there, and then you're going to need the EPUB library. And this is going to have a few different forms that you're going to need for like earthquake hazard disclosure forms, booklets, things like that. You're going to need probably at some point, maybe this Orange County Realtors, OC Realtors. You're going to need this form, the Orange County local area disclosures. You're going to click on the top there. Maybe at some point, you're going to need the CRMLS form. This is I think the coming soon form. So if you can't find the form in one library, maybe you can click on all of them and then type it in and you'll find it. But I like to just select the form library and find it there. I think that's pretty much it.
If you may have talked about it before I got here, but if you do have it all in handwriting, and not on the computer, do you upload it back to here, or is that just into like SkySlope?
I would save a copy here too.
So you like scan it and upload it onto there?
Yeah, you want to save it as SkySlope, but
Yeah.
maybe just add it to the transaction. What you can do is you can create a folder, so add folder, and then name it signed RPA.
Okay.
Or whatever, and then just save it in this folder. So just add document, and then upload the PDF.
Okay. Because I know some agents, I mean, it is in handwriting sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes not.
So now it's here. So if I go to folders, then if I want to find it, I can go here and then find it there.
Okay.
And it's called, I labeled it signed RP, so I know exactly what it is. So I would probably save it there.
Yeah. Okay.
If not, what I like to do is, and we talk about this in next week's class for the transaction checklist, is I like to save every signed contract on my local computer too. Create a folder for that transaction. And then within that folder, I create another folder that says fully executed documents, and then save it in there. So now you have a copy on your computer. You upload a copy to SkySlope for the brokerage to have. And then if you want to save one here, you can do that too.
All the places.
Yeah.
Might be a dumb question. So, what exactly different between transaction and spice?
So transactions or ZipForms, this is where you find the contracts.
Yeah.
You fill them out, you prepare them, and send them up for signatures.
Yeah.
And SkySlope is a transaction management platform or website where you just upload a copy of all the signed contracts for the brokerage to have a copy of it.
All the executed ones.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's kind of like for retention. So you upload a copy of it, but you can also access it whenever you need it and download copies of it. But there's a checklist on there of forms that are required for the transaction to close.
Yeah.
And then so what I recommend is when you go in escrow, add it to SkySlope, and then it gives you a checklist, and then as you get documents signed, upload them as you go.
Yeah,
Because if you upload them as you go, you're gonna know exactly what you're missing,
yeah,
and then look for that when you're close to closing. Some people used to upload everything at the end, right, like when they closed. And then the problem with that was they upload everything they had, only to find out they're missing like 4 different forms.
Mhm.
Or let's say they have everything, but 3 of the forms are missing signatures.
Right.
If it's the other party's signature from the other side of the transaction, good luck getting those signed after it closes.
Right.
Some agents will be like, nope, our transaction's done. I'm not gonna ask my client to sign anything else. So it's good to upload as you go, because I check these things every day when you upload them. So I let you know, hey, you're missing a signature. Same day you upload or the next day, I check it and I'll say, hey, you're missing a signature on page 2, page 3, or this is the wrong form, or maybe you uploaded a form from a different transaction. You might have 4 transactions going on, and you accidentally uploaded a TDS to this one that belonged to that one.
Mhm.
And I look at it and make sure to let you know, hey, this is a wrong TDS. And so it's just good to have it up as you go.
On transactions, right?
In SkySlope.
Guys,
Yeah. This is just where you find the forms to fill out
Yeah.
for them to sign.
Yeah.
SkySlope is where you upload the fully executed for us to have a copy.
Yeah.
And then another question is, I know like some agents, they use like the DocuSign versus like AuthentiSign or something. Is that, can you choose on here, or how does?
So this is
How do you
one
make
of
that
the things
choice?
this is one of the things I talked about
Oh,
in the beginning.
oh,
So
okay.
when you go to your profile and settings, and you click on settings, just make sure you select
Oh.
AuthentiSign, so it's defaulted, so
Yeah.
it never asks you that. You can use DocuSign, but you have to pay for it.
Okay.
I think they give you the first 5 signatures free, and then you have to pay for the rest. But why pay for it if it's already included in your fees to use AuthentiSign?
Yeah.
But like Zach said, maybe like the other party is using DocuSign, do we need to follow that?
If the other party's using DocuSign,
Yeah,
they're paying for it on their end, and you don't have to pay for anything because they're sending to you to sign, and they paid for it for the service to send out for signatures, right?
yeah.
Here, if you initiate it, you're using AuthentiSign and it's free. Yeah, but if like let's say someone's like a dealership,
Yeah.
car dealership,
Right.
they send you something to sign through DocuSign, you don't have to pay for it.
Right,
They
right,
do
right.
to use the service to send it to you to sign.
And the DocuSign request will come through via email, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Makes sense.
I don't know if you talked about it. What is the difference? I know versus like DocuSign is paid. But
It's just 2 different companies.
Okay.
It's just ZipForms has a contract with AuthentiSign. I don't know if they own it, but it's their own e-signature platform. I would practice with it, write up a contract, or just pull up any form and add yourself as a signer.
Yeah.
Send it to yourself to sign, so that way you know what it looks like when the recipient receives it, and what they have to click and then sign it. So that way when you do send something out and then they call you, say, hey, what do I do? Oh, okay, this is what you do, because you've already done it, right? You've tested it. Click on sign now, and then you accept terms or whatever it is, and you can even select the signature that you want to use, like what script or what font. And then you go through and you click on each signature and it signs it.
So what would be the, because I'm totally new, like I'm now, going through all these contracts, and now reading RPA, like my line.
Yeah.
What would be the contract forms that I need to do, like practicing RPA, BRBC, listing agreement, like can you name all of this that I need to get?
Well, you should know how to interpret everything.
Right.
I can give you a checklist of the forms that are required for the transaction if you want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most of it is just, it's common sense, pretty easy to like, once you read through it, it's easy to understand. But there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Okay. And another question is like, in the real world, like, when you go to listing agreement, a listing appointment,
Mhm.
and after you do the pitch for like an hour, probably it's better to, bring the what is it, hard copy for listing agreement.
Yes.
In case they want to sign it.
Yeah,
right away,
you should bring it with you.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of, okay, let me send you the authentic,
Yeah.
like sign later tonight, like this kind of.
Yeah, and in that situation, you're gonna want certain things filled out already, right?
Okay.
But not but not the price,
Yeah.
not the beginning date,
Mhm.
things like that. So like in that scenario, you want to have the listing agreement and certain things already filled out, like you want to have prepare date, you can put the date you're gonna meet with them.
Mhm.
You have the property address. The name, I would leave the name blank because it might be a
Yeah.
trust or it might be something you don't know, right? So leave that blank.
Mhm.
Um, scroll down and then beginning date, ending date, leave that open
Okay.
and commission, put in 2.5% or 3%.
Yeah.
So that it's fixed. So, you know, if they want to change it, you'd have to cross it out and they have to initial next to it.
There it is.
With the new, yeah. So like if you cross this out, when you're sitting in front of them and they say, no, I just want to pay you 2.25%.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna cross out the 2.5, you're gonna write in 2.25, and then they're gonna initial next to that, in addition to signing the rest of the contract. And so there's certain things that you want to fill out, like I said, leave that blank because you're gonna decide, maybe they're not ready to go on the market tomorrow. So the beginning day is gonna be next week
Okay.
on Tuesday
Yeah.
or something. Or maybe today will be the beginning date, but you wanna, not market it until 2 weeks from now. So if that's the case, let's say you're meeting them today,
Mhm.
today's the beginning date of the contract, but it's not ready to go in the MLS yet. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the other form that's the multiple listing addendum, I believe.
It's coming soon.
Yeah, well, first, we're gonna do this. It's not coming soon.
Okay.
There's two different things. So multiple listing service addendum. So this form, if you go to the next page here, you're gonna say, third page. Begin marketing on this date. So like, let's say on the 30th. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna register it with the MLS.
Okay.
You're not adding the listing yet. You're just letting the MLS know, hey, I have this listing. In case someone else gets a listing too, you already have it. You already told the MLS, I already have this. Right? So you're letting them know you have it. And then you're gonna enter into the MLS on the 30th.
I have another question about it because like was it a couple weeks ago we talked about the AOD, I mean average days on market and cumulative average days on market.
When you register it,
Yeah.
there's no days on market because you haven't submitted it to the MLS yet as a listing.
So
You're just letting the MLS know I have this listing, but you're not adding the listing to the MLS yet.
Yeah. So for example, I was the previous listing agent for like 123 Main Street, and it expired like as of today. And Zach wanna be the another new listing agent, and he wants to reset the cumulative days.
You have to wait 30 days and then
And it will suffice like to do this like 30 days from now. No. So listing agreement should be signed 30 days after.
it should have,
Oh.
it should have the beginning date, which is the
Oh.
beginning date on the first page should be 31 days after.
But so if we sign today, can we set beginning date 30 days from this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Then you wouldn't need this.
You
would not need this.
Right.
Because you're just gonna enter it as a new listing on
Yeah.
31 days from now.
So like, cause I was thinking like, cause I'm gonna call like expired listings and I wanna sign it, but then I wanna make ourselves bound for the contract, but then wanna reset the cumulative days on market.
This is how you would do it. Well, days on market is, I guess being under contract is but it doesn't continue days on market. That's the thing. But if you, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I would call the MLS to ask them.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're not marketing it yet.
Right.
Until 30 days, 31 days from now. So even though today's the beginning date on the contract,
Yeah.
let's say you're not gonna market it until 31 days.
Yeah.
So like, let's say marketing it, I'm gonna market it even longer,
Mhm.
right? So because it's not being marketed until the 31st of July,
Mhm.
is it gonna reset?
Yeah.
I would call them and ask them, that's a good question. Even though today's the beginning listing date.
Yeah.
Because it will not show as days on market until you enter it on this date.
Right.
So the other option is if you had coming soon, what you can do is let's remove the date here. And let's say today's the beginning date, we enter on the first page. And then we're gonna say, we're gonna add it as coming soon. Then we'd have to add the coming soon form. So we're gonna click add. And then remember, it's gonna be in a different form library. CRMLS. And then we're gonna add that form. Close. So now this form is added to it. And then we're gonna say, don't start showing until you can leave it on coming soon status for no more than 21 days. So let's say say 15, day 15 of June 15th. So that means you're gonna enter into the MLS today because today's the beginning date, but it's not gonna be active. It's gonna be coming soon, which means you can't show the property until it turns to active. And that it turns to active on June 15th.
But you'll be still seeing it.
Yes, you're still marketing it.
Yeah.
So you can put your sign up out in front of
You
the
can
house?
put your sign in front of the house, but it has to have coming soon,
Oh,
and then the date it's gonna become active. Coming soon, June 15th. Yeah, but you can't show it, and if you do show it, you have to convert it to active within the next day.
Right.
Okay. I think that's good.
do you recommend doing coming soon, or does that just depend on if the house is ready to go and whatnot?
It depends.
Yeah,
Some people do it to build anticipation.
yeah,
Maybe there's no listings in the area, but they want to let people know that there's a listing coming.
Mhm.
So to build that frenzy. But right now, I don't think it's the market for that. It works for some people. I don't know the exact answer to that.
yeah.
It works for some people because it does build anticipation, but it's a slower market. So I don't know how effective that would be, but some people use it because the house isn't ready yet.
Yeah.
And within 21 days, they have 21 days to have it in coming soon status or leave it in coming soon status. And what you can do within that time frame is finish, touching up the paint, whatever, cleaning the house, doing whatever you have to do, and do your photographs and all that stuff, right? Schedule the photography, order signs, do whatever you have to do, and then you'll be ready to go active on, in order to put it on coming soon status, you have to have at least one photo of the exterior of the property. So, yeah, I guess I don't know, man. I was doing all the pictures on there right away. So it just depends. It depends. Does anybody at home have any questions? Okay. We'll leave it at that then.
So can I ask like
Sure.
short questions?
Yeah.
So Carlos, like, hypothetically we sign this listing agreement, like as of today, because
Yeah.
May 28th. And they might need some time to repair and stuff, like painting everything.
Mhm.
So beginning date will be sometime today or like maybe a month from now, if you sign listing agreement.
If you add today as a beginning listing date,
Yeah.
then today will be the beginning listing date. You have to enter it into the MLS within 2 days of today.
Okay.
So it had to be in by Sunday
Yeah.
into the MLS. Let me go back to it.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it will be marketed from today, because like seller might need to do some like repairs and everything.
If that's the case,
Yeah.
you wouldn't do the coming soon form, right? You would just say to lock in the listing.
Mhm.
Let me get rid of this. We're not gonna use the coming soon form. To lock in the listing, you're gonna enter today's date
It's a beginning date, yeah.
as a beginning date.
Yeah.
Let me show you where that is. Let me go back up to it. Right here. Today's date is the beginning date, right?
Mhm.
So that means you have the listing from today. If they
Yeah.
sign with anybody else, they're still required to pay you a commission because they signed with you today, right?
Right.
So in addition to that, you're gonna go to the multiple listing service addendum. This one.
Mhm.
And like I said before, you're gonna go to page 3.
Yeah.
And uncheck that. We're not gonna use that. We're gonna say, don't begin marketing until, let's say 2 weeks from now, so 28th. So till the 11th.
Mhm.
So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna go to the MLS and register it.
Yeah.
Before logging in all the way into Matrix.
Mhm.
There on the left-hand side when you first log in, it's gonna say register a listing. You're gonna click on that, They're gonna ask you when's the beginning date of the contract, you're gonna write it in,
Yeah.
write the address and so forth. Now they know you have the listing.
Mhm.
Then by June 11th, you have to have the listing in the MLS.
Mhm.
And when you enter the listing into the MLS, it's gonna ask you what's the beginning date. You're gonna enter 5/28 is the
Yeah,
beginning date.
yep.
But your days on market is gonna start the day you enter it, the day you submit it is active.
Yep.
So,
Got it.
is that,
Yeah, the total
Does that
makes
help?
sense. And ideally, I will need to make photography ready by then, or I can add
Yeah.
later. Yeah,
yeah, I would make sure you have your pictures ready by the time that you're gonna upload the listing.
right.
But you know what you can do in the meantime?
Yeah.
You can log into the MLS and start adding the listing creating the listing in the MLS
Mhm.
and take your time with it. And then by the time you're ready to submit it, you're pretty much done with it and you just click on submit listing as active.
Yeah,
Whereas some people, like if you were to go on the listing appointment today and then you want to go, you're ready to go live today and you have some pictures, you have to create the listing like and add it within 2 days, right? So
Right.
then you only have 2 days
yeah,
to add the listing. But if you start doing it now and you don't go live until June 11th,
yeah.
then you can add a little bit every day.
Right.
And you're not rushed and you can just take your time with it.
Yeah, I think it's the best practice, because, probably seller is not ready with all the photography and everything, so we need to arrange like.
Right, right. And then there's probably recommendations you have like to the seller, hey, take down all your personal pictures, take down your family pictures, clean the clutter in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Maybe move some furniture around, or hey, we're gonna get it staged, or whatever it is, or paint, the main room, or get the carpet professionally cleaned, whatever it is.
right.
You need time, right? So that's what you can do. You can get the listing signed today,
Mhm.
but not market it until 2 weeks from now or a week from now, or whatever it
Yeah.
is, until it's ready. Yeah, and it gives you plenty of time for them to do whatever they're gonna do and for you to schedule the photography after that.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Any questions? Any other questions? Okay.